Very good evening, all of you. Hope you all are doing well. Let's start with today's session. Quick recap of yesterday's session. Yesterday, some basic things we saw: applications, application areas of JavaScript, then famous JavaScript engines, which are there in different browsers, right? And then we saw how to write a JavaScript. There are actually three ways. One is the inline JavaScript, which I told when we will be doing event handling and all that time I'll tell you. Then second is internal JavaScript, which you write directly in a script and slash script tag. And third is external JavaScript. So you create a .js file in that you write a JavaScript code, and then you can incorporate that JavaScript in your HTML file by mentioning the name of that JavaScript file in src attribute of script tag. Okay. And then some basic things we discussed, I guess, like what is the JavaScript statement. So it's the instruction given to the JavaScript engine. Normally, end of the line is the end of a statement, but if you want, you can put semicolon as well. Continuing with that, some more things to learn today. Next is about JavaScript code. So can we say a sequence of JavaScript statements will be called as a JavaScript code? Many statements when you're writing one after another, that makes a JavaScript code. So JavaScript code, or we can just say JavaScript, is a sequence of JavaScript statement. For example, like I'm outputting something, then one more thing, then one more thing. Then these are all statements. First statement, second statement, third statement. And that all statement when I write in a script tag, this makes a JavaScript code, right? Just as an example of JavaScript code. Okay? Here I'll take a script tag. Then suppose I'm creating a variable. Don't bother about what that let and all means. I'll tell you. Okay? Then maybe I'm printing that document.write. I'm printing value of x. Okay? Then document.write. I'm printing value of y. Then document.write. I'm printing addition of x and y. Okay? Something
So
like
the,
that.
so the screen is not visible.
I've not shared the screen. Very sorry. I shared the screen. No? I directly started with the presentation.
Sir, it's visible.
I shared.
Well, I think
Yes, I've
network issue
shared.
from my side too.
You can just disconnect and again. First, at one point, I thought maybe sometimes it happens like from my side, I forget to share and I directly start teaching. Okay, so this part is clear. See, so I've just created a JavaScript code. Some statements I've written. I've declared one variable, another variable. Then I'm printing again next value. Then I'm printing the addition, right? And if you want, you can run it from your which browser you can pick, and then in the browser it will display the value of x. First value of x is 10, the next value of y is 20, then the addition is 30. Now obviously it will not show it on different line because in the code you have not told only na, the display on different line. In browser, separate line is put by br tag. So you have to give that br tag, otherwise it won't. Getting? So you can give here plus and then a br tag. Okay, again here plus and a br tag is possible. Here if I rerun it, reload it, so now you're getting it on separate line. Okay, then something more. Next is about JavaScript blocks. So blocks are sequence of JavaScript statement enclosed in a pair of brace brackets. That is opening bracket and a closing bracket. And within that, you have written a sequence of JavaScript statements. It makes a JavaScript block. Getting in some languages, it is indentation, like Python. It depends on the indentation, like on which column number you are typing. So all those who come in same column, they are one block. But here it is based on bracket. Irrespective, you are typing in a statement or same line, but you have enclosed them in a pair of bracket. Then it becomes a block. Okay. Usually these blocks are for your loop body or a conditional statement like if. So if body, else body, or a loop, while loop, for loop, do I loop. For that, generally we use these blocks or even a function body. If you have written a function, the body of that function, class, the body of that class, we usually give it in a block. Getting? Now, in this code only, if I'm writing whole thing in a block, still it will work. Understanding? It's called as an anonymous block. Anonymous means a block without a name. Just if I put this whole thing within a block, okay, still it will work, but it doesn't make any meaning in this case to put it in a block. Generally, blocks application is writing a block of conditional statement or a block of function body or a loop body. Generally, there we use blocks. Okay, see, still the output won't change. Okay, so JavaScript statements are grouped together in a block. And how do we indicate a block? Block is indicated by beginning open bracket and a ending opening brace bracket and a closing brace bracket. You call it as brace bracket or curly bracket. So block starts with a left curly bracket and ends with a right curly bracket. Normally, a block is used to group statements, which I already told you. The body of a function or a body of a loop or a body of a conditional statement, the if part and the else part. Generally, in that context, we use blocks. See here. The same program like one heading, second heading, third heading, and that all things I put it in a block. Still, it will work. Getting? For example, this I'll keep it as it is, and I'll create another script called JS block.html. Okay, script tag and a block I'm writing. And in that block document dot write, in the first one I'm giving h1 slash h1. Okay, this is a heading. Okay, you can put a paragraph, some outputs I'm giving. You can put a for loop also, right? Like I'm putting a p tag, another p tag. Whenever you take a paragraph, paragraph automatically starts from the next line. This is paragraph. Okay, and you can run this. Here I can stop that previous script and run this script. So it is producing the output of each document.write, document.write, document.write. But as I said in this example, there was no meaning of writing all this thing in a block. Generally, block will be helpful when you are writing loops and all those things. Okay? Loops or function body, those are generally put into block. Okay, then some more things. I'm sure these are all very basic, elementary things, quite easy to understand. Many more new concept of JavaScript, ES6 and onwards. So many new features we have to learn in this whole course. So those concepts which are quite easy, I'm just moving it fast forward. So JavaScript comments. Actually, comments are ignored by your JavaScript engine. Whenever you write any comment in your JavaScript, actually it is just ignored. It is not checked. Nothing is checked within the comment. Comment are just for documentation purpose. It is just for documentation, like telling the purpose of your code. Like if you are writing a function, then above that, if you put a comment that what this function is doing, what value it is going to return, what parameters it is taking. If there is a complex calculation, then little bit explanation or the author of the script, the date when it was written, what was the purpose of that script. So all that things in a comment, if you write, it becomes easy later if you're again working on the same scripts after some time, after days or months or years, again on that code you're supposed to work. Then after reading the comment, you can recall all the things. And not only you, if your scripts are given to someone else for re-engineering and all. So for them also it becomes easy to understand the comment, and from the comment they can find out what the purpose is. Nowadays we have AI tools which directly guide you, but general purpose of comment is that. Now how you can write comments in JavaScript. So in JavaScript, one is a single line comment which you write by slash slash to front slash. Anything which starts with two front slash till the end of the line is a comment. Till the end of the line. And if you want multi-line comment, then we have slash star. These are few things copied from the ancestral languages only. Ancestral languages like C or C++. Generally, they used to provide such comment that are copied or carry forward in the next generation language. So slash star will indicate the start of a comment. After that, any number of lines you can write till star slash doesn't come. So till star slash doesn't come, everything is a comment. Getting? And please remember, multi-line comments cannot be nested. You cannot do nesting of multi-line comment. Like you're writing something and again you're starting this and then you're closing this and then you're closing this. But this will be treated as a error because this much part will remain incomplete. This part will remain incomplete. Why? Because this first slash star is indicating the start of a comment. So everything after that is the comment till it doesn't get star slash. So your comment gets over here only, guys. So this much part remains incomplete and it will give a error. Your interpreter will not consider it as valid. Okay? You can check also the colors come different. See, slash star, star slash. Again, if you put slash star and star slash. Can you see there is the error coming to this much part? Because this star slash star and this star slash, here only the comment is over. So this much part remains incomplete. Therefore, you always have to remember that nested multi-line comments are not allowed. Okay? So which type of comments JavaScript provide? Single line comment, multi-line. And what are comments for? And comments are always ignored by the engine. So comments can be added to explain the JavaScript. When we say explain the JavaScript, means JavaScript code. Instead of writing JavaScript code, only JavaScript means it refers to JavaScript code or to make the code more readable. We have one comment that is single line comment which starts with slash slash. Another is the multi-line comment which starts with slash star, any number of lines of comment, and then star slash. Okay? Then, can you give me quick confirmation? Till here, everything is going fine. Everything is clear. There is no doubt.
Got it,
Yes,
Saurabh.
sir.
Okay. Then, moving ahead, Lot many more things to learn. I'm sure you are excited to learn many more interesting things of JavaScript. But as I said, now we cannot dive or jump into those topics only. To understand those topics, you have to go through all this because the students who are attending, they are not from the same platform. Some are totally new. Some know something. Some are from other background, but they want to learn this. So varied type of students are there. So we have to come to a common platform. Okay. Coming to the next thing, that is identifiers, right? So what are identifiers? Now, you people are also given some name, isn't it, guys? Your parents have given you a meaningful name and with a proper function by calling friends, relatives, and then a proper naming ceremony was done. And then your name was announced, and then the whole world is recognizing you with that name. Is it or no? So, is that name identifying you? There are many students, like Anand is there, Zishan is there, then Tanishka is there, Somnath is there. All of you are having your name and you are recognized with that name. So your name is your identity, isn't it? So in programming also, there are some elements to which name is to be given. In your program, there are some elements. Now, what those elements are, like variable names, variables. Why? Because variables are created by us. So the name to the variable we have to give, or we are creating functions. So I have to give name to that function. I'm creating my class. So I have to give name to the class. Getting? I'm creating modules. So I'm giving name to the module. Labels. So many things are there in your program. They are called as programming elements. And you have to give a name to them. That name is called as a identifier. Okay. So in simple terms, you can say identifier is a name given to programming elements like variables or functions or classes or modules. Okay. Why? Because these are all user created. Now, variable we create, functions we create. So we have to give the name. Some things are there which are already provided. So you don't have to give name to them, like keywords and all. Okay? You can say identifiers are like nouns in English. In English, do we have nouns? Nouns are name of a place, person, thing, object, living thing, non-living thing, the name given to it. And is that name pre-decided or human created? Human created. No? You can observe, no? If you go to Western side, their names are different. If you come to India, the names are different. In that also, there are Sanskrit names and so many. They are human created. So identifiers are name given to program elements like variables, functions, and so on. Okay. So an identifier is a name you give to program elements, like name of a variable, name of a function, name of a class, parameters you pass. Actually, those parameters are variables only. We are just giving a special thing. Objects are also variables only. Okay. So objects, everything. To all this, whatever name it is identified. Now, JavaScript enforces some rules on their names. Means whenever you're giving name to these identifiers, you have to follow some identifier naming rules. And who is going to check that naming rule? Your JavaScript engine. Like in school days, your literature teacher, English teacher, your Marathi teacher, they used to check your paper. So if you have not followed the rules, not followed the grammar properly, they used to make that red. So here the checking job is your JavaScript engine. And who has to follow that rules? We people, those who are going to write program. Now what the rules are? Identifier naming rule. Okay, very simple rules are there. First, your identifier names can contain any combination of letters, irrespective it is uppercase, lowercase, digits, okay, underscore, and currency sign. Generally, dollar, Okay, but you can have another currency signs also, but usually dollar is easy to type from the keyboard. So they usually recommend dollar as a currency sign. So currency sign, underscore, digits, and letter, any combination of this. So only this thing, everything other than that is not allowed. So you don't ask like, can I use at the rate? Can I use hash? When I've given the list, means you're only allowed to use from this. Everything other than that is not allowed. Okay. Then cannot start with a digit. It cannot begin with digit. Cannot start with digit. I'm going to give all the rules on slides. Don't worry, we'll read all the things. So you cannot start with a digit. That is the second rule. Third rule, it is case sensitive. Okay, case sensitive meaning uppercase, lowercase, mixed case, everything will be treated differently. There are some languages which considers identifier insensitive. Like you go to MySQL. If you're working in MySQL, it is case insensitive. Quickly, I'll give you that demo also. Like in the previous code here. Okay, suppose here I'm creating one variable. Let age equal to 10, age equal to 20, and age equal to 30. Okay, and if you want to display it in the browser, use document.write. You want to just display it in the your debug window, then use console.log. I'll tell you about it. Don't worry. Okay. So here if I'm printing age plus I'll put a space, then age again plus a space, and then age. And here also I'll add one dr tag. Will it display 30 30 30 or 10 20 30? So obviously it should display 10 20 30. Why? Because they are case sensitive. So all the three variables will be considered different. Getting? See, is it printing 10 20 30? Different. Sure. So with this, what is proved? That identifiers are case sensitive. Then you cannot use reserve words, that is keywords. Okay, reserve words not allowed, and no limit on length as per ECMA standard. According to ECMA script standard, that is an organization which have set the rules, and all the browsers in the globe follow that ECMA standard. So according to them, they say there is no limit on length. Okay? But anyways, you will not write such huge identifier names. That person will be ideally a donkey who is writing such big identifier names. No limit on length. Okay? So obviously, when you want to store a salary, maximum creating a variable sal equal to something is okay. Or maximum salary equal to something. No one will create a variable like this, my life first salary of month Jan and 2026 equal to 4500. Okay, it is ideally correct. It will not give error. It will create an identifier also, but it will be so much difficult or cumbersome. It will be cumbersome to use this variable further in the coding if you need it at many places. At many places, if you're going to use this variable, it is so much cumbersome. Instead of that, small sal or salary is okay. So it is up to you. Programmers should make the name of the variable wisely. Wisely means उतना smartly दिमाग लगा के variable को नाम देना है. ठीक है? Okay. So all the rules I hope clear. The first rule is can contain any sequence of letters, digit, underscore, and a currency sign. cannot start with a digit. Not allowed. Reserve words cannot be used. You cannot use the keywords as identifier. Means it is illegal. See here, I'm creating a variable with the name for equal to 100. Is it giving an error? For is the reserve word. Does it apply to natural languages also? In natural languages also, do we have some reserve words? If you take English, does English provide some reserve words like articles, a, and, articles are there, verbs are there, verb like run, go, sleep, eat. So can I give the same name to a girl or a boy, like run? So my brother's name is Run. How it is possible? English people do, but according to the rule, it is not allowed because they are reserve words. And can I give reserve words to anything else? No. In programming also same thing. Okay? And case sensitive treats uppercase and lowercase different, which just now I showed you with an example. And no limit on length according to ECMS standard, European Computer Manufacturing Facturers Association. Few valid and few invalid I have mentioned here. You can go through them, check total price. Valid, no problem. Is it following the rule? Underscore count. Okay. Is it? No problem. No? You can start with underscore. Dollar amount is okay. Dollar, that is allowed, no, to have a currency sign. Can we have currency sign? In the beginning also it is okay. Why? It is following the rule. Rule says only first place digit not allowed. User one, calculates sum, is logged in, all valid. Why invalid? It is starting with one digit. This is a valid expression. You can say it is a valid expression. Subtracting total minus price. Price is a separate identifier, total is a separate, and then you are sub to valid expression. But if you consider this whole thing as the identifier, it is not valid because it is containing minus sign. Minus is not a allowed symbol. Username, there is a space. Let is a reserve word. At the rate count, special symbol. Return is a reserve word. Return is a keyword. Okay? Okay, guys. I hope it is clear. Just give me quick confirmation.
Yes.
Then, huh,
Sir, is it possible to go on the rules again? Just to take a
this
screenshot.
one.
Yes, one second.
If it is possible, you can take screenshots, whenever I'm explaining and that time. Okay,
Yes, sir.
because every time it is not possible to share the notes timely. Okay, so if you take screenshot, okay, keep it for your reference. Okay, coming to the next thing, that is keywords. Now, what are keywords? Keywords are reserved words of the language, and these words are having their purpose. The meaning is decided and the purpose is decided. And who has decided? Whoever made that language, whoever has designed that language, obviously the person who designed the language, they have set the keywords also, and they have set the meaning also of each keyword. So whatever is the purpose of that keyword, you have to use it for that designated purpose only. You cannot use it for anything else. Getting? Means I cannot create a function and giving the name to the function. I'm creating a function in JavaScript. You create a function by writing keyword function. Same like in Python, def. There is a def keyword, here it is function. And then I gave the name to my function as while. Okay? And then the body. So it won't work. Why? Because the name of the function is reserve word. So what is the purpose of while? For a loop. So you have to use it for that purpose only. You cannot use it for something else. Getting? As I said, like in English, nouns are human created. Therefore, you can use it anywhere. Like June. June is the name of month. Okay, so June is the name given to month. But if I give name June to a girl, doesn't matter because it is a noun, human created. So girl name also can be June and month name also can be June. But as I said, articles, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, can we give it for anything else? No, they are reserved words of English. Getting? Same thing, programming is also having same rule. So what are keywords? Reserved words. Every word is having its pre-decided meaning, and whatever the purpose is, you have to use it for that intended purpose only. Now, the latest JavaScript standard says there are some 38 keywords, and maybe some may be getting added in the future version, some are kept for the future version, but the common one are 38. Okay? What those are, that we'll see. So keywords are reserved words with predefined meaning, and whatever is the predefined meaning, you have to use it for that purpose only. See, if you have listed out. Getting? So if you consider the later Java, that is later Java, nahi, JavaScript, later that is ES6, which came in 2015, that was considered as the more stable form of JavaScript based on ECMA standard. So ES6. And then onwards, they decided to come with a, every year a new version, every year, like that. Okay. So according to them, many are borrowed from Java also. Some keywords are from Java, some are from C, or from C++. Getting? Like this package, extends, super. Getting, guys? Even this yield has been added in Java in the newer version. And some come from C++, like switch, while, if, continue. Okay. And some are specially in Java, like let. Again, I'm telling Java, JavaScript. Let is there, or where. We have few. Okay. So many you can see are not new. Lot of keywords you might have observed it some other language also. Okay. So you can go through this. We will be using it. Many of these keywords we will be using till the end of the course. Okay. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Lot of keywords like return, break, continue are very much common from C or Java, you can say. Switch, if else. Here we have just two special, for off and for in. Only for is there, which is called as a counter for loop. But especially for arrays or object, if you want to traverse an object or an array, then for that, especially this for or for in is given. Okay? But like this implements and package and all this instance of, they all are coming from finally, all are from Java only. Okay. Now moving ahead, some more interesting concepts in the pipeline. Variables. Okay. Are variables also identifiers? Are variables one type of identifier? Just now we have discussed identifiers. They are the names given to different programming elements like variables, function, class, module. So is variable one type of identifier? Yes, it is one type of identifier. Okay. So obviously, is it a name? Is it going to be a name? Yes. So it is a name given to some memory locations. And the value in that memory location can keep changing. Get it? Means in your memory, some memory locations are reserved. Okay. Some memory locations are reserved. We have reserved that. And remember, every memory location will have some address also. It's called as a number. But dealing with that address in the program is totally difficult work. Again, it is not at all feasible for we people to deal with the address. Therefore, we give some meaningful name to that memory location. So some memory locations are reserved To those memory locations which are reserved, we are giving some meaningful name, and the value in that memory location can change. You can store new value, you can retrieve that value for calculation. But how you're going to deal with that memory location, with that name? Dealing with that name is more easy for writing program. Right? So what are variables? I hope it is clear. Variables are name given to memory location, and the value in that memory location can change. You can retrieve, you can store new value. That's the reason it's called variable. Anything which is changing is variable. Okay. Now, first remember in JavaScript, as JavaScript is a dynamic type language. Is it a dynamic type language? Yes. Static type, dynamic type. Dynamic type, why we should call? There is no concept of declaration. As like in Java or C, first you have to declare and then only we can use variable. Do you agree or no? पहले declare करना है and फिर use करोगे. Without declaration, you cannot use any variable. Therefore, it is called static type. Means the name of the variable and its data type is to be announced at the time of compilation. Getting? And the opposite is dynamic type. Dynamic type means no concept of declaration. You can directly assign a value to a variable. And what value you assign, based on that, what value you are assigning, based on that, it will decide its data type. So if you are giving whole number, it will treat it as it is number data type. If you are giving double quoted value, it is string. Getting? If you are giving true or false, it is boolean. That way. So what value you assign will decide its data type. Okay. So you have to remember that in Python, no compulsion of declaration, directly assign the value variable created. Therefore, it is called dynamic type. Why? Because the data type of a variable is decided at runtime. At runtime, based on the value what is stored in it. Okay. And it is also called as the loosely type. Why? Because the same variable can change its data type. Now it is number. But after some time in the same variable, if I store string, getting? Automatically X data type is changed to string from number to string. Therefore, it is called loosely type. Such thing we cannot do it in Java. In Java, once a variable is declared as int, throughout its life it is int. It cannot modify. Okay? Okay. So you got it. Why dynamic type? Why loosely type? But again, JavaScript ECMA standard, ECMA recommends that at least do the announcement of the variable. Means directly assigning a value to a variable and using it is a poor practice. It is not recommended. A good JavaScript programmer will not do this. JavaScript programmer will at least do the announcement that it is called as hoisting. So it will at least announce the variables which you are going to use by either let or where or const. All the three things we are going to learn. What is the difference between let, where, and const? In detail, it will come in the appropriate topic. We'll be learning that because that is a very common interview question. The difference between let and where or let, where, and constant. Getting? So here we are just announcing that x and y are the two variables which we are going to use in the code. Getting? Here only if you assign the value, that time only the data type is decided. If you don't, then the data type is undefined. Okay, so we'll come to it, don't worry. ठीक है एक एक करके देखेंगे सब कुछ देखेंगे. So first of all, what are variables? So I told you variable is the identifier and identifiers are names. So obviously variables are names for those memory locations where you are storing the data and the data can change. So variable is a named container used to store data values in memory. Getting? Okay. Then the value stored in a variable can change during program execution. That is the reason it's called variable. No? That is the speciality of variable, that the value which you keep in that memory location changes. And changes, that is the reason it's variable. Then generally for what we use variable, can you people tell me, just your common sense, generally at which places you will be using variable? If you don't have any programming background, then it is okay. But if you have some knowledge of programming, so what do you say? Just like I'm telling one thing, for storing temporary result of some calculations. You're doing some calculations and I want to store the temporary result. I'll create a variable. Similarly, what is other application? Can we use it like a counter? If you're writing a loop, if you're developing a loop, so in that loop, I have to maintain the count, how many times the loop is being performed. So how many times that loop is being performed, that count I have to keep. So for that also, generally I use what? Variable. Then if I'm writing a function, so when I'm calling the function, I'm passing that value. But those values will come in some parameters. So those parameters are also what? Variables. Okay? So many applications are there. Like store user input. If some values are coming from forms, you have designed HTML form. So through that form, the data is coming. So that data you'll store it in some temporary variable for performing some calculations or for holding some temporary result. Improve code readability many times. Okay. When something is getting reused, if the same thing you need again and again, better to put it in a variable and use that variable everywhere. Understanding? Like if I need A equal to B into C, here I'm taking X plus B into C. Example, and Y equal to X plus, sorry, something else, Z plus B into C. So you can see in both the place B into C is needed. So better what you do, keep this whole thing in some temporary variable. Putting semicolon is not mandatory, I've told you. And then use that T everywhere. So it will make the code more cleaner, more readable. It is simplifying your code. The common thing you have put in a temporary and then that temporary you're using everywhere. Getting? So that is the benefit. So lot of reasons are there. Okay. And as JavaScript is dynamically typed means your understanding. It will decide the data type of a variable at runtime on the value what you assign to it. What value assign on that it will decide the runtime data type. So there is no need to declare a variable. When you assign a value, variable is created. But this practice is poor. It is the bad practice that directly you are writing x equal to and assigning value and start using. ECMA standard says you first announce the variables, at least using let or where or using const. Okay? So ideally we say this technique is not a good practice. Directly assigning a value. Okay? Not recommended. Now what are different ways to declare variable? One is using where or old style. It is called as old style. Very initial JavaScript which came by Netscape communication. They introduced the concept called where and then give the list of variables. Then according to ES JavaScript, that is ECMA JavaScript, they introduce let and const. So all three things are allowed. You can use where, which is the older style, and it will have scope till function level. The minimum scope is function, not at block level. The nearest function is where. We will learn with an example. Don't worry, I'm just listing out the topics. Sorry, the types. Then we have let, modern JavaScript introduced. But with the help of let, we have block level scope. Now you'll say, what is scope? Scope is the lifetime of a variable or lifespan of a variable. Or you can say the part of the code in which the use of that variable is legal. Okay. And we have const. Const is like let, only with one difference. Those which you are declaring with let, you can change them. Those which we are declaring using const, once initialized, we cannot modify them. Later, you cannot change them if it is const. Okay, all three will come in detail. Don't worry, a separate slide will come for where, for let, for const. Okay, then therefore, I have mentioned here all the three things to be discussed in detail after we complete topic data types. Okay, okay. Then moving ahead with the data types. So quick confirmation, you can give me quick confirmation.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what are data types? Right? So data types indicate type of value which is stored in that variable or in that memory location to whom you have given that name. Right or no? Variable is a name given to the memory location and the values in that memory location change. So what type of value is kept in a variable? That is indicated by data type. Whether a whole number is stored, a floating number, or a string, or a Boolean value, or whether you're storing an object, whatever. Okay? So, in simple terms, you can say data type indicates the type of value which is kept in the variable or which is kept in memory locations. Actually, the systematic definition is data type indicates the legal range of values. What is the legal range? Like, what will be the minimum value to maximum value? And it also tells what operations can be done on that. Getting? So, ideally, we say data type indicates the legal range and the legal operations which can be done on those type. Okay? Now, what are different data types JavaScript has provided? They have kept it very simple. They have not made it complicated. Every numeric come under one category called number. Getting? Boolean, then we have string, then we have undefined, null, and then some advanced data types are there called as complex data types. So that also will learn. So generally we call the data type classification like this: primitive and non-primitive. Actually, ultimately everything is same according to JavaScript. JavaScript is not like Java. Like in Java, we have 8 data types separate called primitive, and everything other than those 8 data types are non-primitive. Getting? But this is a loosely typed language. It ultimately considers everything as an object. Just for our understanding, we are classifying those which are single valued, scalar, okay? Single valued or scalar value, they are primitive. And those which are group values, means it is not a single value. We are combining different values and representing them as one. Getting? Like array. So in array we have group of values, or we consider object. The object contains different properties, right or no? So object is containing different types of properties, or array is containing a group of values. So they come under non-primitive. So non-primitive means multi-valued or a group type, or it is vector. You can also call it as a vector or an array or an object. They are non-primitive. And those which are simple values, scalar value, elementary value, they come in primitive. So all those one by one we will discuss. Okay? See here. So a data type defines the kind of value a variable can hold. What type of value a variable can hold? That is decided by the data type. But please remember, JavaScript is a loosely typed and dynamic type. Therefore, in JavaScript, declaration is not compulsory. And therefore, for data type, there are no keywords, guys. डेटा टाइप के लिए क्या दिए ही नहीं इन्होंने कीवर्ड्स जैसे स्टैटिक टाइप लैंग्वेजेस होता है ना ये स्ट्रिक्ट टाइप तो वहां वेरिएबल डिक्लेयर किए बिना यूज नहीं कर सकते हो तो डिक्लेयर करते समय आपको वेरिएबल का डेटा टाइप बताना पड़ेगा इसलिए उन लैंग्वेजेस में हर एक डेटा टाइप के कीवर्ड्स भी होता है जैसे इंटीजर है तो इंट है फ्लोट है बाइट है शॉर्ट है कैर है बुलियन है ऐसे कीवर्ड्स होते हैं हर डेटा टाइप के बट जावास्क्रिप्ट में डेटा टाइप के लिए क्या नहीं है कीवर्ड्स क्यों कीवर्ड्स नहीं दिए हैं डेटा टाइप के लिए क्योंकि जावास्क्रिप्ट में डिक्लेरेशन का ही कंसेप्ट नहीं है ना जावास्क्रिप्ट में डायरेक्टली क्या वैल्यू असाइन करोगे उस पे ही उसका डेटा टाइप तय होता है वो रन टाइम तय होगा एट रन टाइम what value you assign based on that it will decide the data type therefore there are no keywords अब बोलोगे अभी तो बोला कि डिक्लेरेशन है बट डिक्लेरेशन मीन्स यू आर अनाउंसिंग ओनली द वेरिएबल्स ठीक है यहाँ डेटा टाइप थोड़ी बताते एंड बताया तो भी वो कैसे पता चलता है जो वैल्यू आप असाइन करोगे उस पे पता चलेगा यू आर जस्ट डूइंग द अनाउंसमेंट यूजिंग लेट इज देयर एनी कीवर्ड फॉर टेलिंग द डेटा टाइप ऑफ दैट वेरिएबल नो व्हाट वैल्यू यू असाइन दैट विल डिसाइड इट ठीक है इसलिए याद रखना है डेटा टाइप्स आर देयर इन जावास्क्रिप्ट but for those data types, there are no keywords. Why there are no keywords? Because there is no concept of declaration only. When we don't declare only variable, how you are going to tell what data type that variable is? Data type is inferred. Inferred means समझा ना वो conclude किया जाएगा किससे जो वैल्यू आप उसको असाइन करोगे ठीक है तो note that JavaScript is dynamically typed. Dynamically typed meaning the data type is decided at runtime based on what value you assign to that variable. And it is loosely typed, meaning the same variable can keep changing its data type. ऐसा कर नहीं सकते हैं जावा में जावा इज स्ट्रिक्ट टाइप गेटिंग द सेम रूल शुड बी एप्लीकेबल ना इससे एक पास में जोक में ही लो ऐसे उसको सीरियस मत लो लेकर अदरवाइज यू पीपल मे बी फ्रॉम द पॉलिटिकल बैकग्राउंड बट आई सेड ना इन इंडिया politics is happening like that the politicians are at any time jumping from one party to another as per their convenience they are not bothered about the citizens and the people who are electing them right so anyways I hope you got the relation of that with this so loosely typed means same variable can keep changing its type. Now, usually we classify like this. Data types are classified like this. Primitive. Primitive means all elementary type, single valued. Okay. And they come on stack. They're stored on stack. And non-primitive or reference. Non-primitive जब होता है ना, तो memory for that is allocated on heap पे memory and उसका reference रहेगा जो एक वेरिएबल में और वो वेरिएबल स्टैक पे रहेगा स्टैक पे वेरिएबल है जिसमें रेफरेंस है और वो रेफर किधर कर रहा है एक्चुअल ऑब्जेक्ट को जो हिप है दैट इज द टेक्निक गेटिंग so generally derived or multi-valued derived why because we create it from the primitives लाइक बहुत सारे प्रिमिटिव्स का ग्रुप बनाते हो और अरे बनाते हो, ओके, या फिर की वैल्यू पेयरिंग करते हो, की एंड द वैल्यू, which is called as dictionary in some language. Here they call it as object. Key is the property, key is the attribute, and the value of the key is value of that attribute. So those are kept on heap. ठीक है, तो यूजुअली क्लासिफिकेशन ऐसे होता है, प्रिमिटिव एंड नॉन प्रिमिटिव। तो जावास्क्रिप्ट में भी है ना नॉन प्रिमिटिव, लाइक अपने बने हुए क्लासेस के ऑब्जेक्ट्स, या फिर जो ओल्ड स्टाइल ऑब्जेक्ट्स थे, अरेज, यहाँ भी अरेज बनेंगे, ये सब नॉन। एंड व्हेन यू क्रिएट a number variable or a string variable, or you create a boolean variable, they generally are called as primitive। ठीक है, जस्ट क्लासिफिकेशन दे रहा हूं, चेक कर सकते हो। द क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ जावास्क्रिप्ट डेटा टाइप, ओके, वी हैव नॉन प्रिमिटिव एंड प्रिमिटिव। एक्चुअली ये ऑब्जेक्ट ये नॉन प्रिमिटिव कैटेगरी में ही आता है। ऑल द टाइप्स ऑफ ऑब्जेक्ट, there is an object called object, O capital. Then there is one more called array, then function, date. ये सब भी क्या है? ऑब्जेक्ट के टाइप सी है, बट ये सब ऑब्जेक्ट्स किस कैटेगरी में ही आएंगे? सॉरी, नॉन प्रिमिटिव, ये रॉन्ग किया मैंने, ये नॉन न्यूमरिक न्यूमरिक ऐसा क्लासिफिकेशन है, बट नॉन न्यूमरिक न्यूमरिक दे बोथ आर प्रिमिटिव, एंड जो प्रिमिटिव नहीं होता है वो ऑब्जेक्ट्स है, एंड ये सब किस कैटेगरी में आता है? ऑब्जेक्ट्स कैटेगरी। Getting? And those who are not objects, they are primitive. And primitive में दो कैटेगरीज है, न्यूमरिक, नॉन न्यूमरिक। तो न्यूमरिक में नंबर आएगा डायरेक्टली और एक बिग इंट, एंड नॉन न्यूमरिक में स्ट्रिंग है, बुलियन है, नल है, अनडिफाइंड है, सिंबल है। ये सिंबल भी बाद में जावास्क्रिप्ट ने ऐड किया, ES6 में ये इंट्रोड्यूस हुआ। ठीक है, तो ये सब डेटा टाइप्स देखेंगे, इसमें से अभी सब एट दिस मोमेंट नहीं देखेंगे, जैसे जैसे अप्रोप्रिएट टॉपिक पे पहुंचेंगे तो हम अरे को इन डिटेल देखेंगे, फंक्शंस को इन डिटेल देखना है, डेट को भी बताऊंगा मैं। ओके, तो कैसे क्लासिफिकेशन है? प्रिमिटिव टाइप एंड नॉन प्रिमिटिव टाइप। प्रिमिटिव मींस सिंपल वैल्यूज, सिंगल वैल्यू, और यू कैन से स्केलर, एलिमेंट्री, एंड दीज आर ग्रुप टाइप्स। So when you group many values, it becomes a object category. प्रिमिटिव में दो में क्लासिफाई, न्यूमरिक, नॉन न्यूमरिक। ठीक है, ओके, तो फर्स्ट क्विक कंफर्मेशन about the classification. Now one by one all these data types we have to discuss. Few will may not be now immediately, at least ये जो इस साइड जो है, नंबर, बिग इंट एंड ऑल, ये सब तो हो ही जाएगा, एंड बाद में जब हम फंक्शंस को आएंगे तब ये पढ़ेंगे, गेटिंग अरेज पढ़ेंगे, ऑब्जेक्ट पढ़ेंगे, विल बी लर्निंग एवरीथिंग। ठीक है, तो कैन यू गिव मी क्विक कंफर्मेशन, क्लासिफिकेशन क्लियर है कि नहीं? So that in the next session, we will be talking about each data type one by one. एक एक डेटा टाइप्स हम डिस्कस करेंगे एक एक करके। ठीक है, नंबर पढ़ेंगे, बिग इंट पढ़ेंगे, ओके, फिर डेटा टाइप्स होने के बाद फिर ऑपरेटर्स को जाएंगे, फिर कंट्रोल फ्लो पढ़ेंगे, एंड उनके ऊपर ही वो पढ़ते पढ़ते उनके ऊपर एक्सरसाइजेस भी सॉल्व करते रहेंगे। ठीक है, ओके, तो फॉर टुडे विल टेक अ पॉज हियर, गाइस।